This was the scene at Nairobi's Kenyatta National Hospital just a few days ago. A constant stream of people eager to get their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. They were the lucky ones, receiving some of the country's precious last shots.
And this is what it looks like right now. This hospital was administering the highest number of COVID-19 vaccines in the country on a daily basis. They've had to suspend the campaign, and they just don't know when they're going to be able to resume again.
Kenya has relied solely on the global vaccine alliance COVAX that's provided the African country with just over 1 million doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine produced in India. But with India facing its own COVID catastrophe, it's halted all vaccine exports. The painful impact already being felt across COVAX-dependent nations like Kenya. This country is going to run out of vaccines in a matter of days. Busy vaccination centers across its capital city now deserted.
We've been to several healthcare facilities and hospitals here in Nairobi, and we just can't seem to find one still offering COVID-19 vaccines.
Where do I go to?
Those desperately searching for a first dose are being turned away. Mother of two, Njeri Mwangi, doesn't want us to show her face. She tells us she's been to every major hospital in the city. She's now trying smaller clinics. Mwangi says losing a close friend to COVID-19 was a terrifying experience.
Having lost someone who's younger than me, I think it's very, very serious. It is important to be immunized. I'm supposed to put food on the table. I can't stay at home.
57-year-old Shadrach Angwa was supposed to get his second jab next week, but the government's pushed back all second doses by at least 4 more weeks. The government's promised those who had their first shot there will be a second one. But with the June delivery now in doubt, no one really knows when the next consignment will arrive.
We were told to get the vaccine because if you get corona, it won't be severe. What I hear is that corona keeps on increasing. That is why we are eager to get a second dose.
The World Health Organization has warned vaccine delays risk opening the door to a new wave of infections on the continent and the emergence of new COVID-19 variants.
What you're seeing in India, like the pyres and the fires, bodies being burnt in the parking, we might actually see a mass graves.
Dr. Ahmed Kalebi, one of Kenya's top scientists, has been warning that African countries could be the next India. He says no healthcare system in Africa can deal with a surge like the one that's devastating India.
What has happened in India is, I think, a red flag for the whole world, that for the third world countries, the poorer countries, where they were spared the first wave and the second wave in terms of the mortality, we might actually see something worse if something is not done.
Kalebi says it's time for wealthier nations to rethink their vaccination strategies.
It makes no sense to give teenagers in schools vaccines in richer countries when we know there are people who are super spreaders or likely super spreaders across the world who have not been vaccinated. These are the likely breeding grounds for new super variants. It is a global village. None of us is safe until all of us are safe.
It seems, once again, Africa's being left behind. But with this persistent virus, what happens in Africa likely won't stay in Africa.
And Hala, over the past week, we have seen the number of vaccines being administered on a daily basis continue to drop from a high of tens of thousands being administered on a daily basis down to a few thousand or even a few hundred a day right now. The government says it is working to secure 30 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine by August or earlier. They're talking to other providers to try and get these really needed vaccines. But with the supply issues around the world, nothing is certain right now, Hala.